Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome back to the Crypto Bully Bear channel. This is part 2 of my boldest prediction. Now here we have the movie Luca. I just wanted this to keep you in the back of your head about Luca. See how it's overnight? There's the moon. Looks like a bridge he's crossing. Found it interesting.
This is a telescope. Old Ben Bernardi lets me use it. It makes faraway things seem close. Look. Ooh. See any fish? Then what are all those? Stars, like the sun. Giant raging balls of fire. So that goes wrong. And stars are circled by planets. Look. That's Saturno. It's my favorite. It's the lightest of the planets. They say if there was an ocean big enough to hold it, you would float in it. Whoa. Wow.
Oh, liquidity.
Come on, Luca.
Now I'm bringing you Luca because I'm going to go backwards and back and forth, but I wanted to show you this part within the movie Luca, showing you within the stars, and they did mention, and I will let you know, in this movie, they say 1 million 3 times in this movie. Does it have to do with anything with Ripple? I have no idea, but I just noticed that they said 1 million in this movie only 3 times. Now, we're going to have fun. I want you to remember this movie because we're going to go back and forth and why I think this year, in 2022, we're going to see our official Bullrun and adoption and announcement coming up. So, I looked up the movie Luca, and I wanted to know the story about Luca. Then I came across this, which it said, "What is the moral of Luca?" Now look in the dark writing, where it says, "Those who are afraid to leave their bubble," on friendship. Okay, remember that in the dark writing. Those who are afraid to leave their bubble on friendship. All right? So now I'm going to start showing you how I'm going to connect The Simpsons over to this movie, which I found weird and quite interesting. So let's go have a look at that. Okay, so in part 1, I was telling you about how I came across the episode Sorry Not Sorry. That's because I seen Bart Simpson in sleeping with Miss Hoover, and I thought it was quite interesting because the picture in the background is the same picture from Back to the Future. So whatever. So I won that when I tried to look up for the episode, I came across this episode. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention because when you thought this episode was over, it wasn't actually over.
Now to dream of being a World War I flying ace.
Now, you can make your own assumptions how that particular episode ends and why it would end like that. I don't know if we're going to be fighting for regulations or who knows what that means at the end of The Simpsons. But let's take you now to why I was breaking down why I really believe that next year might be the year for the crazy bull run. Okay, now, This prediction is going to be based on if the ISO 222 is going live in November of 22. That means next year of 22, they're going to go live. Right? So you really think that they're going to go live without price showing first? So again, I'm basing this assuming that the ISO 222 is going live next year of November. So if that is true, and we're going to go based on this data here, then we have to assume that price and everything is going
According
to
to ACI Worldwide,
reach before that date. Right? So we're going live on November 22, so we have to agree or assume that we're going to sometime in the beginning of next year start making some moves. We have to think that these things are going to be a significant price before they actually go live and they actually let the public know that they're using these things and they're actually live and they're actually running the payment system globally. So in my head, I'm like, all right, so next year has to be the year, so I have to see some type of action before that. And I'm going to now bring you to The Simpsons, and I'm going to show you some titles. Okay, so again, I seen this image with Bart with the teacher, and I started looking for this episode. It was just weird that I came across that image, and I'm going to show you why.
Wow, now I see why they call you Miss Hoover.
There's Miss Hoover. Now here, I was like looking at that picture. And I mean, come on now, Bart Simpson is sleeping with Miss Hoover. I had to look into this. And I'm like, that picture up there kind of resembles that glass scene when they broke through the broken mosaic. Okay? Now, again, you're going to say, oh, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does, especially when he's speaking about Miss Hoover, and this was the hoverboard scene. Okay? That's Back to the Future. That is the hoverboard scene. So, again, now this was quite interesting that I came across this episode. Now, I actually want you to see how this episode starts. Now remember that I was just telling you about Luca, and it said something about being in a bubble. Now this is quite interesting. So now you see how this one starts off. This one is called Bart Future of Future. I'm going to go here now. Now, quite interesting. That was season 25, episode 18. That's how that starts with the bubbles. But look at the title before. Look at the episode before and look at the title. It says Luca. Now, I just showed you on the other phone. Let me see if I can pull it up. I just showed you the Disney movie that said that they're in a bubble. You can go back to the beginning. Now, Luca, look at how Luca is spelled. Luca has a freaking $sign at the end. So it says Lucas. And it has a $sign. So then I started looking into these particular things. Now I'm like, all right, well, there's Luca. Now let's look at the one before Luca. Right? And it's this one. You don't have to live like a referee. I want you to see how the intro starts. Now, I think this one was aired in March. March 16th, actually. I want you to remember that date, March 16th. Because I'm going to bring you to a video yesterday that Extra VOD did. It was just perfect timing. I came out with the part one of this particular sequel of my videos, and then later on in the day, this gentleman put out a video that matches kind of the dates that fall with these particular airings. It's just quite crazy how I aired that video earlier today, and then Extra VOD aired a video later in the day. And I'm going to go back to his video, but I want you to go and you can see when these things were aired. Let me see if I can actually pull it up for you. All right, so when I go back to the video, you'll hear them talking about March 16 as the date. But if you notice, this episode here, the winter of his content, it's not this what I'm showing you on here now, but this is 2 episodes before this particular one I'm showing you right now. And I'm just thinking, all right, that's probably going to be toward the end of winter. And it's funny because they say March 16th, and in his video they mention March 16th. Then I'm thinking maybe there's the next of the Art of War, the War of Art, which is on March 23rd. The one I'm showing you right now, like I said, is You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee, which is aired on March 30th. Right? Luca is aired on April 6th. Now, if we go back to The Simpsons, the Bitcoin episode, when we looked, we noticed that when Jim Parsons was talking about the Bitcoin, he mentions that they paid with the ledger, right? And you see the guy in the jet skis paying April. Remember, that lady, the name tag was April on the ledger. Now, look at how Luca spelt with the $sign. If you go back, right, you know what? Let's go back. I'm going to go back. Okay, so here, this is the episode I'm talking about. So her name, can't really see it too clearly, but it's April. But look in the background. Look at the big wave. That's what I'm looking at. He needs to power out of that big wave on a jet ski. I mean, that image is looking pretty ill, right? So that's what I'm seeing. April, jet ski, big wave. And now remember, you have Luca as the $sign, and that was aired the first week in April. Okay, that was the first episode in April that they played in season 25 when they aired it. Now again, I just showed you from the last Simpsons, we had April. The colored lady with his name was April, and she was standing next to a big tidal wave. This is how, okay, so this is the episode before Luca. And this is how this starts. You're not going to tell me that there's not going to be a bull run before? Again, broke through the wall. We've been seeing a lot of these images of people breaking through the wall, breaking the brick wall. I mean, that wasn't a brick wall, but it did break the wall. Now, ain't this funny that this episode starts? Now, you got to understand, too, the beginning of these Simpsons shows, they have a message within. These are called the couch gags. And I'm starting to learn that these couch gags are linking other episodes to one another. So they begin with the bull run and the bulls chasing them and then them knocking them out. The next episode is Luca. And then look at the $sign on Luca. And then remember, I just finished telling you that April has the big tidal wave there. Now you can go back. I'm sure if I went back over here and looked into these particular ones, I can find other things to connect. I haven't. It would just be too much work for me. But I just wanted to show you these 3 episodes. So this was the last day of, not the last day, but this was the last episode in March. And then April, they played Luca with the dollar sign, which I just found it really weird. And then if you actually go and you look up Disney movie Luca, and you go look at the moral of Luca, it has explained something to the effect about being in a bubble. Then again, I said, after Luca, we played this one. And it starts it. And it's there of them popping the bubbles. Now they popping. So they're saying, Luca was mentioning how the bubble was in like some type of world. Like, are they popping this world? This is where we pop everybody's bubble? I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. Now, if I was to guess, I think we will see a nice little jump up around sometime next month. And I can see a nice crazy rise. I don't think that will be the top, but I think we can have a nice crazy rise up. And I don't know, between the rug pull of The Simpsons when I showed you around Christmas time, and there's a lot of things I noticed that they were talking about beats and robbing us. And this is hypothetical. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm just going to tell you from what I've seen of these particular shows, I can see that we have a nice little spike up, and people believing that this is going to be the final run up, and everybody pours their money into it right before Christmas. This is, the end of the month, and people trying to double up on their savings. Some people, not working right now. So I can see some people, if they like to chase green candles. So if we start pumping green candles in the beginning of December, I can see people starting to chase it. And then I can see a crazy rug pull around Christmas time and really fuck with people's emotions and make them depressed. And then I can see I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I can sort of see it, that we have a crash right around Christmas time, and then we just stay low in the shitter until about March time. And then all of a sudden, I think we just wake the hell up around March time, March 16th or whatever that time is, and then we see the bull run, because like I said, I showed you, it was just weird how they had that bull run. Then the next episode is Luca, and then it has a dollar sign at the end of Luca's. Then the following episode, they're popping bubbles. So, I mean, you can tell me I'm reaching, that's fine, but this shit looks so coincidental of connecting one another. I'm going to show you one clip from Extra VOD. Okay.
Guys, so perhaps, right? Now, if we go to XRP Phoenix Suite, are you awake yet? 1322 XRP moons, we see right here. Nothing, how can this be? And then Baba wins. Perhaps, what is this? December, January, February, March, right? If we go to an SU from XRP Phoenix, once again, XRP moons in 1322, 6 crazy. If we go down here, the month, right? If we go to an SU from Almighty Shade, final countdown is 1322. 22 rays of sunshine, 22 equal 2022. Check. Adar 2 equal 13th month of Jewish calendar. Check. Adar 2 equal March 2022. Check. 13th day of Adar 2 is March 16, 2022. The storm begins March 15th. Look at this, guys. This is pretty crazy.
Now, I mean, I listened to that after I was putting things connected, and I was like, oh wow, I was just thinking that March would be the time that this Bullrun would kick in, and then he brings out that video, and and it basically shows how March might be the time that it comes. Now again, I wish I was a psychic, and I wish I knew the exact dates and stuff like that, because I'd be a rich mother effer, and I wouldn't be on here. I'd be enjoying my money somewhere warm. But I'm here sharing this information with you. Now, no, you tell me down at the bottom, what do you think about these kind of connections that I made over here? And I'm saying, if the ISO 222 is going live November of 22, then I mean we have to have common sense and think that there has to be some type of price before they they let the public know what's running the world and what's being used. I mean, that's what I'm basing this whole prediction on. If the ISO is starting November 22nd, then I have to see that we have to have some type of crazy movement in price a couple of months before that. And that would be a perfect thing for them to jump up this price around, the beginning of December and then really freaking dropping it like 80-90% to make it shit, making people think like, oh my God, why I got into this? This is bullshit. I knew I should have never touched it. They'll make people not only fear everything else, but they'll make people fear of even investing into crypto probably this coming up. And believe me, I hope I'm totally wrong. I hope there is no crashes. But if I was behind the brains of the operations, that's what exactly I would do. I would make it look juicy in the coming up months, and you're like, oh wow, Christmas is coming, end of the month is coming. Look at all of these green candles. Let's jump in this baby. Let's go. And then a great rug pull on everybody, making people lose their minds, and then just rising from the ashes, like the straight Phoenix will do. And I'm going to make a video on the Brad Garlinghouse tweet that he recently tweeted about old bridge to the new bridge. And I'm going to show you something super special in Back to the Future, which correlates with his tweet. Keep watching, keep hanging, keep sharing. Thank you for watching, guys. Love you guys, and I'm out of here.